Hi guys, it's Elijah. Easy. Welcome to the show. We're we got a lot to talk about today in a very confined amount of time. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears. That's the football team that we all root for and support. We're also going to be talking about some other football teams, and I should put my hat on because everyone hates my forehead. Whew, thank God. And we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. All very excited for that. Very exciting times to be a football fan. And then we're all going to go into our depression once the Super Bowl ends because there's no good sports for about a month and a half until March Madness, which is also very exciting. And speaking of March Madness, my friend Noah was born in March, and he's going to be on the show. Hey, Noah.
March babies rise up. Pisces superiority. I totally believe in all of that.
You were born in March, right?
Yes, March 5th, which I think is still Pisces. I remember at one point when I was in high school, they like switched some of the weeks, and all the girls in my class freaked out.
Yeah, why did they do that?
I don't know.
That's like when Baseball Reference decided to change their WAR formula.
That really was our like astrological sign. Yeah, that really is. Yeah, you know what? Actually,
honestly, yeah. That's a great analogy, man.
Actually, you're a really good one. Yeah,
that was really strong.
Wish I'd had that when I was single. Dang.
So, you know what, Noah? You know what I wish? You know what I wish happened? I really wish that the Bears just decided to keep Justin Fields and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. We would have been so good.
So good. So much better
so
off.
So good, right?
So much.
And you know what?
Off.
Actually, what we should have done. All I was thinking when watching.
Actually, you know what? They should have drafted Caleb and kept Justin and run a 2-quarterback system. I think that's what they should have done.
That would have been really smart.
Like a little Chris Leak, Tim Tebow action. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. Chris Leak, he won a national championship.
Chris Leak is a national champion. Yes, that is.
He is a national. He probably won a couple, but I know he won.
I think he spent a little bit of time with the Bears in like.
He did. He got a cup of coffee with the Bears.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. You know what else I was thinking while watching Caleb Williams throughout the playoffs was, man, you know what? If only we had Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders running this team. It would have been.
Only you could a Pro Bowler like Shedeur Sanders really could take this offense to the next level.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Pro Bowler like that, yeah. Because Shedeur is accurate, unlike our guy who, only throws a few perfect dimes a game while being pressured and jumping in the air and Anyway, you told me that this morning that you have 3 potential offseason trade targets for the Chicago Bears. Who are they and why are they Max Crosby, and Max Crosby?
Phenomenal question. So to that point, I have seen a couple of sort of pie in the sky trade suggestions. I know Max Crosby is the name everyone wants. I know last year it was Trey Hendrickson. Historically speaking, I feel like the Bears, outside of the Khalil Mack trade, really have not had these like huge swing trades where they're trading away 1s and 2s. Historically, it's not really the Bears style. Outside of like the Mack trade and like the Chase Claypool trade, I can't remember like day 1 and 2 picks of multiple getting moved. And that's what it's going to take for a guy like a Crosby, like a Hendrickson last year. That's what it would have cost. So I was thinking kind of more cost-effective guys the Bears could be kind of buying smart on. So the first name that I thought of, a name that a lot of the viewers and you will know, is Kayvon Thibodeau. Obviously, former top 10 pick, who is now, there's not really a spot for him in New York. Abdul Carter looked awesome. Unfortunately, he looked like he's going to be legit. They're paying Brian Burns like $20-25 million over the next couple of years. He's not going anywhere. So you're talking about, at best, your third pass rusher, a situational pass rusher, a guy who doesn't have the size to go inside and doesn't have sort of that athletic ability to like drop in coverage. So he really is stuck as just a third edge rusher. And the numbers are not great. I think he had 2.5 sacks last year. I think it was other 1.5.
We should go after a pretty shitty pass rusher, is what you're saying.
So my point being, you're talking about a former top 10 pick. I think it's former top 5 pick on top of that, actually, who I have watched enough Eagles-Giants games. The get-off is there. The burst is there. He's an energy and effort guy. The energy is not there. The effort is not there. And when you're in the NFL...
So get him on a good team, you think he might be better?
No. I don't think it's about being on a good team. I think it's about having the reps. I think he is a guy who if he's getting regular reps, he's regularly going to be playing, regularly going to be starting, he's more engaged and he's more willing to play well. Is that an excuse? Should it be? Whole other discussion. The whole guys having or not having motors in the NFL is a whole other discussion. But do I think he would give more of an effort as what he would come into Chicago already the best pure edge rusher?
Yeah, no, I mean,
right? Like the motivation is there. A team saying, "Hey, we believe in you. We're bringing you in to be our go and get the quarterback guy." That's a huge confidence boost for a guy who, going back to his draft days, coming out of the draft, he was kind of a weird head case guy. He was a guy who a lot of teams had off their boards because he was kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
Which guys there are weirdos who come out, you know what I mean? Joe Burrow.
I mean, he was supposed to be the cornerstone of the Giants, right? Like they're supposed to have him,
and it just didn't happen for him.
Like,
but
they drafted him and Andrew Thomas.
They drafted him.
The same
draft. They traded for Brian Burns, and then a year later they drafted Abdul Carter. So it's like, where's his growth supposed to come from?
Yeah, you get a lot of they just love getting their pass rushers.
They do. And like, look at Tyree Wilson. Thought Tyree Wilson was a bust. He had a decent year in Vegas. Like the talent, like there's a reason these guys go top 10, even if they aren't necessarily good enough. There is some sort of skill, some sort of talent. They went there for a reason. Speaking of,
and Thibodeau was a number 1 overall pick in some mocks. I remember
he was, and he's an athletic freak. Hasn't had any real injuries. That athleticism didn't go away. It's there. It's can you get it out of him? Another athletic sort of underachieving athletic interior lineman, Rook Orahoro. I always say it wrong, but it's Rook Orahoro from Atlanta. He was an early second-round pick 2 years ago, and another one of those combine freaks, sort of a tweener, plays at like 295, I think. And I'm just picturing him next to Dexter. Dexter is sort of that big body run stuffer who gives you a bit of a power push. Rook as that speedy interior
Dexter's supposed
guy.
to be, I think he's playing the 3 technique, and he's supposed to be playing the 1.
Precise. Yeah. Yes. Precisely.
Right.
So yeah. I think they could. I was just going back and thinking back to like when I used to like old school Madden in a 4-3. I liked having like a big run stuffer and like a pass rusher next to him. Sort of a
good to have a guy whose job is to be fat.
Get me a fat boy. Get me a speed rusher. Right. Sort of a modernized version of that. And then the other one that I had in mind, going back again, talking about a little bit of a draft bust, staying in the division, going to Minnesota, and seeing what Dallas Turner is going to cost you. Because I'll remind you.
Yeah,
he's
going to
I'll remind you, I believe he was drafted before Jared Verse, and coming out, the talk was Verse was sort of the long, explosive athlete, and Turner was the big power rusher. Again,
I don't think there's any way they trade with Minnesota. Minnesota's getting a new GM.
That's my point. That's my point. Take advantage of the new GM who wants to come in and get rid of trimming the fat. So if you can come in to a new GM, hey, I will give you a 4th-round pick.
He'll be more than a 4th-round pick.
Which would he go for much more? I think he had 1.5 sacks last year. That's my point. A lot of Chicago trades I see
within the division, it's going to be at least 2.
He's big. So like the other one I had in mind that is more down that route, and the last thing I'm going to say, Alex Highsmith, the edge in Pittsburgh, he's getting paid $20 million this year, getting paid $25 million next year. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to want to pay that. They got to figure out Watt's next contract. They got to figure out Cam Hayward's next contract. And they took Jack Sawyer in the 4th or 5th round last year. He didn't have a great season, but like they took a young edge last year. If they wanted to get off of that contract, Highsmith's a really, really good edge rusher who also plays the run incredibly well. Sort of gets overshadowed in Pittsburgh because Watt's been there his entire career. But Alex Highsmith is a guy who, if you wanted, he's probably going to cost a little bit more, both in capital and in actual like dollars you're paying him. But if you want to take the bigger swing, I think Alex Highsmith is a great fit in Chicago.
Yeah, the problem is we're already paying so much for our terrible defensive linemen because we signed
Odin. And what's funny is I cannot think, and I will say I think Bears fans can be pretty hyped on the guys they get, whether or not I think they are or not. I can't even think of a single Bears fan who was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to be great." I think all the Bears fans were like, "Ooh, we spent a lot of money on this guy, and we probably shouldn't have." At least Grady Jarrett had like the name recognition. You know what I mean?
We were all very, very disappointed. I was even disappointed when we got Grady Jarrett, and I was right about that one too. He just hasn't done anything. He's done a little bit.
And seen him decline, but with Grady, it was more kind of like paying for the name to a degree, which I actually don't blame the Bears entirely for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and he's a good locker room guy, but he just hasn't done enough. Like there just hasn't been enough of a presence on that defensive line, and really like the interior between he and Dexter just doesn't really It just hasn't really played well. But I don't know. I think that out of all the names you mentioned, I think Thibodeau is definitely the most appealing. Giants rebuilding. I just don't know how much they would cost.
If you can get him for a three, I think I'd do it.
What now?
If I get him for because he's got 2.5 sacks last year. At the most, you're asking for a 3, which, given the way compensatory picks work, I would
easily give up a 3 for Thibodeau.
Easy, I would do that. And if you're the Giants,
like high
can you realistically ask for that much more? You know what I mean? And kind of in everybody way,
I was not like, for the longest time, I was not the biggest on Austin Booker. I was like, he's a preseason standout, but I watched him in the playoffs. He was getting some pressure. He's got some bend to him.
He's fine.
He's totally fine. I think he could develop a little bit. Like
I think
I wouldn't give up on him. Is what I'm saying.
Though I think he's going to be
he's a bit of a tweener. He's a bit of a tweener, but like I wouldn't give up on him. Is what I'm saying.
No, and I think I've seen a couple of Bears posts about like, oh, Booker should add 25 or 30 pounds and play full time on the interior, and I just feel like, as much as I always do if your best trait's versatility, that's another good thing, blah, blah, blah. But like, you don't want to take away what makes Booker special by having him add on all that weight, which is his first step quickness, his pad level, that's what makes him really good, is he can kind of get around guys. If you add on all that weight, yeah, you're stronger, but you're losing all that quickness. Not all of it, but you're losing a significant amount of your quickness.
No, exactly. And that's kind of like what I've seen from him is what makes him someone with the potential to be good is that quickness.
Yes.
And is that speed. And that's why I kind of like him where he's at. I think that what he needs to do in the offseason is just like work on some technique stuff. Just, try to keep doing what he's doing a little bit. Just get himself a little better. Just try to do exactly what he does, except better.
It's also a really solid defensive line class where it's like not even necessarily the first round, but like throughout the draft, you can find really talented players.
Who do you think we should draft at pick number 25?
20. It's interesting because it's the consensus is that this is a weaker draft, and there are guys who are in previous years are like top 50 guys who this year are like first round locks. There's going to be guys going in the first round that in other years they simply are not talented enough to go in the first round. My take on these kinds of drafts is actually a little bit different than everyone else, than the majority of people I talk to. The majority of people I talk to in these drafts, they trend to like the high floor guys. It's not an ultra talented draft. Let's get a solid contributor, come in. But my brain actually goes to the total other side of the spectrum, which is, well, if there's low odds on most of the guys and most teams aren't getting a star, I'm going to take my swing and see if I can be one of the ones to get lucky. So I would see them going for a high ceiling guy, someone like Caleb Banks out of Florida. Only played 2 games.
I love Caleb Banks.
Love Caleb. He was at Senior Bowl this week. He looked really, really good and mobile. Had some really good reps. A guy you and I texted about a little bit. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle from Clemson. I love his motor. They also have an edge there. Parker, I forget his last name.
I like McDonald from Ohio State.
Another good option. And with him, it's the question of like, is he off-ball linebacker? Is he edge? Micah Parsons has kind of messed up evaluations when it comes to like off-ball linebackers who can transition.
Hopefully his surgery is going horribly.
Hopefully. But like we see a lot of times he come out, these guys, even last year when the Eagles took Jihad Campbell, everyone talking about, he's an off-ball linebacker and he can play the edge. Like, no. He's an off-ball linebacker who plays in the middle of the field. I thought
McDonald was a defensive tackle.
Oh, McDonald! I thought you were talking about the linebacker. I'm sorry, McDonald.
No, Reese is going top 10.
He should, but that's my point. It's the Micah Parsons of it all. What do you think it is? If you value him more as an edge, he could go top 5. If the rest of the league thinks he's more of a pure off-ball guy, he could fall into that.
I think they just see him. I think they see him as a jack of all trades a little bit.
Right, and I think in this draft, I think he will go top 10. Another name that I was thinking about for Chicago. Caden Proctor, the big tackle from Bama. I know the offensive line is much better. I will remind you what your offensive line looked like 2 years ago, and then remind you add like 4 new pieces. Multiple of them are over the age of 30. Like the offensive line is not, and we're done forever now. No, you still need to keep adding this offensive line. So go ahead and add the 360
we don't need to keep adding to the line.
So my point is, go ahead and add
the 360
pounder who can play inside, play outside.
We do need help on the O-line. And by the way, Ozzy Trapillo, he fucked up his patella, and he's and you know how that injury goes. He's not going to be able to
especially
play.
for a guy his size. He's like 6'8". He's a big.
He's like 6'7".
dude.
He's massive, and
Right,
I mean,
huge
and he was
guy.
good for us this year. I mean, we didn't have him for the second round of the playoffs, and we're like, Joe Thuney's not going to be playing left tackle for the whole year. He needs to be the guard. What?
Right. I know. I no, you're right, and that's why I think Proctor to the Bears makes a ton of sense. He can start when he can learn inside from Jackson and from Teeny. He can learn outs to the outside position and then take over at left tackle if Ozzie has the injury.
You have to keep building the O-line. You have to just keep getting guys in there.
And like I said, in a draft where like you can kind of in this
we have
draft,
our quarterback. We have our quarterback for the next 15 years, hopefully, and it's like. At a certain point, like I wouldn't mind getting an offensive lineman for him every year in the top 3 rounds.
And like my argument is like, okay, Caden Proctor absolutely could be a bust. He for sure could be a bust. He also probably has the second or third highest ceiling of any offensive lineman in this draft, and you could argue he has the highest. And my argument is, in any year where you take that guy and can kind of get away with it if he does suck, it's in a down draft like this. So let's say 3 years from now, right? Caden Proctor's a busting out of the league, and the fans are going to GM and going, and you drafted a bust. And then he goes, well, yeah, but there was like 2 total Pro Bowlers that entire first round. So like, can't get mad at me. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get a little more leeway to take these athletic upside blue chip swing guys in down drafts because you might as well do it now anyway.
It's Caden Proctor, man. I'm absolutely, obviously.
I've been on him. I've been tried to been talked off of him, and I won't. You won't convince me a guy who's that big and moves the way he does can't be an all-pro lineman. Will he be? I don't know. Can he be? Yes.
He's a big chunky guy, that's for sure.
He's a monster to the Eagles, and not to bring up the Eagles, but just like that is another thing. That's when I was like, oh wow, just imagine that. You know what I mean?
No, he and Mailata, once Lane Johnson is done, like those are some bookends.
Right. And then I think I can't imagine a world
Proctor does poorly in the NFL.
I can't imagine a world where the Bears go with a skill position in the first round again. Like I just can't imagine it. If somehow Jeremiah Love started falling, that is one that they would have to be talking about.
Well, it's nice to have a good running back.
No, he is legit. I think so. If we're going back now, the last running backs to go top 10 were Bijan and Jameer. I think Bijan went, I believe, 8, and then Jameer went 12. Something like that.
Genty.
Thank you, Genty. And Genty went 4th overall.
Something like that.
6 maybe. So I think Caleb Love is more in that sort of second tier Jameer Gibbsy range. But look what Jameer Gibbs has turned into. You know what I mean? I think my point being the only skill guy I could see them taking in the first round would be Jeremiah Love. There's not a receiver prospect who like is gonna blow like Jordan. Maybe Jordan Tyson gets there, but probably not. And if he's not, you don't take him. I love Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end. I think I'm saying it now, cannot be more in on a prospect. I genuinely think Sadiq is going to be like a multi-time Pro Bowl tight end. I think he's incredible, but you just took a carbon copy of him last year. So it doesn't make sense to do it again. Outside of Jeremiah Love, I don't see a skill position.
No, I mean, no, I absolutely think that what we need to be doing is just going after line all the way around. And I think Caleb is going to prove to be one of those quarterbacks who he can make a 4th or 5th or 6th round receiver good. Yeah. I really do. I mean, I agree. Like people are always like, oh, he's got great weapons. He's got Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. And it's like, we didn't know that these guys were great until they got to the NFL and played with Caleb.
Even this year, didn't they have like some undrafted guy who like lived with Caleb and he caught a big touchdown late in the year?
Ja'Day Walker.
Ja'Day Walker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Huge moments for Ja'Day Walker.
Yeah, a couple big moments. Exactly. It's like you have the evidence he can do it. I'm really curious about is if Kmet is back next year.
Yeah, that I'm curious about that too.
I'm curious about that.
He will be. I think he will be.
Because I love him and Colston together, and they love their 2 tight set stuff. I don't think DJ is just gone the way most of Bears fans seem to assume he's just gone.
I'm reading rumors. I'm reading rumors that the Bears might trade him to the Panthers.
That would be very funny.
No, I think that would be interesting.
No, I mean sending him back, and now Bryce needs that vertical threat again.
We have our tight end of the future in Colston. Right. I'm obviously like I can't get off Colston's nuts.
No, I think honestly, Dahlman is going to be here for a minute. He's locked in at center, but in theory, this very well could be Tooney's last year at guard. Could be Jonah Jackson's last year at the other guard. I think if I recall correctly, his contract is like kind of insane for a guard. I think that was one of the reasons.
Tooney?
No, Jonah Jackson.
Yeah, Jonah Jackson. Let me look it up real quick.
My memory was LA paid him a lot of money to leave Detroit. He was a bad scheme fit, and then you guys traded him for not a lot.
Well, he signed we have him 3 years, $52 million.
Yeah, that like so you're paying nearly $20 million a year for Jonah Jackson.
And by the way, he's been worth it. He's been really good.
A $20 million a year guard. That's a lot of money.
It is when a lot of money.
When you're already paying your $18 million a year center, you're gonna have to extend your right tackle this year.
That's true. That is true.
I'm saying, although offensive line, this is like offensive line is sort of more of a need than people might think.
Well, yeah, but
not your general.
We're paying guys on the O line, and I watched my team play football this year, and our quarterback will drop back, and he has time to throw the football.
Funny how that works.
That's a really cool thing to see.
Funny how that works.
Never would have expected that. Anyway, speaking of time to throw the football, I think we'd be remiss to not talk about the Super Bowl. We have a very exciting matchup coming up, a rematch between, we had that Malcolm Butler interception Super Bowl 11 years ago, where we had the Seahawks losing to the Patriots and Tom Brady, Russell Wilson throwing the game away at the end, and his whole career going slowly but surely downhill from that point. Very slowly, because he was still really good for a while.
He shot a couple of really good years, yeah.
He had a couple of great years, but it was just a gradual, very gradual decline. And Marshawn Lynch, not getting the ball, and Richard Sherman being being really upset.
Yeah.
That
is a legendary NFL face. Just thought, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it was super iconic. And Pete Carroll just brutal. However,
he's screaming like a little girl will always.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was a great moment. But yeah. So it's an exciting game. Obviously, Seahawks favored by -4.5.
Really, that much?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
The Patriots did have an objectively easy route to the Super Bowl.
I would argue they had the easiest route since the Eagles from 2017.
Who did y'all?
We got a first round bye. We played Matt Ryan and we are a Julio Jones corner touchdown catch away from losing that game. Then we played Case Keenum.
Didn't y'all have a big play where the ball bounced off of a Falcons player?
Yes. No, a ball bounced off of the knee of the Falcons safety with 8 seconds in the second half, and Torrey Smith caught it. And so we ended up winning that game, I think, by 2 points.
I think it was 15-10 or something.
Right. And so those 3 points ended up being huge. At the end of the game on the final play, it was a fade route to Julio that Jalen Mills, a trillion billion % had pass interference on. Anyway, I digress. Yes, New England's had an easy route to the Super Bowl, and one of the easier ones we've seen in several years.
There's no question. There's absolutely no question about that. What up, Gene Mitchell? Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. But yeah,
that's a lot. And you and I are texting about it, and maybe I'm just the crazy person. Am I the only person who's just not overly impressed by this Seattle team? They're a good team. They're not a great team. They don't scare me.
Yeah,
who really who on that defense?
I think it's because of their quarterback, right? We're not scared of Sam Darnold.
It's part of it for me. But even within that, I'm aware they have the number 1 ranked defense, and even still, I'm yeah, but you can score on them, and they do get into shootouts. Who on that defense scares you? Devon Witherspoon and DeMarcus Lawrence, yeah, they're good and they're above average.
I think that's what it is. I think it's just a bunch
of
just a bunch of really solid dudes.
Yeah, and they're all rock solid, but no one's ooh, shit, how are we gonna deal with blank?
I think Kenneth Walker's pretty cool.
Love Kenneth Walker. I have been slamming my fist on the table for him for 2 years. And I know fantasy.
My buddy played football with him.
My
buddy played football with him in middle school, and said he was he was pretty much a grown ass man, but in 8th grade.
Listen, I think fantasy football can skew fans' perspective on what football is a lot of times nowadays. But the whole Zach Charbonnet steals all his touchdowns things, that's not fantasy football. That's just real. Zach Charbonnet steals all of Kenneth Walker's touchdowns. And for years, I've been like, oh man, that sucks. Like, it just sucks to watch.
Yeah, that is really a bummer. Like that's a real thing. That's absolutely a real
And
thing.
he doesn't care. Another thing, they've asked him about it. Every time he's like, yep, as long as we score, I don't care. Love Zach. That's my brother. Love seeing a score. Like, he always has the right answer. But inside, it's like, yeah, well, I had 7 carries for 85 yards, and then Zach scored. So I'm not thrilled, but it's fine. Like, that can't not bother you.
So Kenneth Walker had 5 touchdowns this season. And Zach Charbonnet, who's injured, by the way. Charbonnet is injured.
Yeah, he broke his leg. And in the game that he didn't play in, I think Walker had like 8 more carries than normal and had a pair of touchdowns.
Oh yeah. No, and he had a great NFC championship.
He did. Great
when he gets the ball in his hands, he had that great catch.
You were talking about Shaheed. It's so funny because he's given them almost nothing.
That was the best trade ever.
And it's crazy because he's given them almost nothing as a receiver. I'm pretty sure he has less than 200 yards. And he's doing everything else.
He had a big catch against the Rams, though, to start.
No, right. He had one guy. And he's doing everything else so well. And where I give them a lot of credit, like, it was kind of easy to go, hey, you're really fast. Go run a kickback. But the way they've used him in the run game on the jet sweeps and keeping those edges open does so much for Kenneth Walker. Because now I can go. Now I'm going to pound it up inside. I can have Sam Darnold hitting the play action. Like I give Clint Kubiak's going to be a head coach next year, and I know we tend to hear last names of former coaches and assume nepotism, and a lot of time it is. But Clint Kubiak knows what he is doing. That's a damn good coach.
Oh, it's a great coach. No, I mean he always has the offense humming, and that's why I want the Seahawks to win, because first of all, I don't think their route to the Super Bowl was nearly as easy as New England's. Having to beat the Rams, who were Super Bowl favorites like all throughout the year, and then having to beat the Niners, who they're all banged up and everything, but still like a divisional opponent.
Yeah,
and going through the gauntlet throughout the season that is the NFC West.
Yeah,
I think Seattle deserves it more, and that's why I do think. I hate saying it because I usually hate picking who I'm rooting for, but I do think they will end up winning this one. I think they'll win this one like 23-20, 26-23. It's the Super Bowl, so it'll probably be a weird score. So we'll say like 29-26 or something.
This is a field goal or an extra point and a safe. Yeah,
there's a 2-point conversion at some point, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. You told me you still think the Patriots are going to win this one?
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine a world where I wake up and I go, a rookie head coach and Sam Darnold.
He's on his second year.
Sorry, a second-year head coach.
That's a difference.
No, huge difference, huge. But a second-year head coach and Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl, and I'm like, really? I'm gonna live in that world? It just sounds so crazy.
It does sound really weird. But look, I got nothing against.
I'm gonna actually be on the other side of you. This feels weird saying out loud. I am rooting for New England wholeheartedly.
Really?
I'm rooting for a number of reasons.
You want them to get their 7th Super, dude?
For a number of reasons. Number one,
do you think those racist fans deserve it?
Those fans specifically, no. But do we as fans deserve it? Yes, and I will tell you why. And you and I disagree on this, and it's fine. Sports needs empires to knock over. Sports needs bad guys to be defeated. Sports needs Goliath.
Hey, y'all defeated the bad guy last year.
I would argue that the Eagles, the 2017 Eagles, taking we've done it twice. I would argue we did it first with the Patriots.
Absolutely, did it twice,
and then we did it with the Chiefs. So but here's the point: we don't have that to do if the Patriots aren't the Patriots and the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs. So there's I'm a big wrestling fan. There's a great wrestling quote that says, "The fans can't miss you if you never go away." So if you're never off as a wrestler, if you're never off TV and never out of the title picture, fans can't want to see you get back there. You got to have someone for you to root against, right? So I think the Patriots, I would argue, have been like the number one big, bad, evil sport empire in our lifetime.
They're definitely super fun to root against.
Because the Yankees haven't really been the Yankees since I've been alive, at least. Not really.
No, the Dodgers are the Yankees of baseball.
Yeah, the Lakers had 5, but that's not that. But they were sort of bunched together and then spread apart, right? So I think having the dynasty, and also on top of that, Vrabel got so screwed in Tennessee. One of my best friends is a Titans fan, And I feel so bad for him because we had a discussion about their owner the other day. And he said, like, as a fan, I know I will never overcome bad ownership, and having to watch Vrabel lead them to the Super Bowl so quickly, it kills him. And it should. But it really comes down to me. Would you rather have?
It is going to be funny to see Titans fans' reactions to that.
And so, would you rather have May and Vrabel or Darnold and McDonald?
What?
Who would
you rather? Would I rather see them win it?
Who would you if you were starting a team and you could have your quarterback and coach combination? Would you rather have Vrabel and May or McDonald and Darnold?
Vrabel and May 100 times
out
of 100.
And I would argue that alone is genuinely like 70% of a Super Bowl matchup. Can your coach outcoach my coach, and can my quarterback outplay your quarterback?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how good McDonald is, to be honest.
Fair. We haven't seen him get it, but we know how good Vrabel is. Vrabel's a proven commodity.
No, absolutely.
So I think at the end of the day, I give a pretty significant advantage to both coaching and quarterbacking to New England. And considering how much I personally think those two matter specifically for Super Bowl, I can't go against them. And I actively do want, to your point, I am now picking the team that I am rooting for.
I think we're due
as well.
I think we're due for a good guy to win. I think we are.
We good guys last year. We took down Birds took down the Chiefs.
No,
you're a good guy.
The Eagles are good guys to you and to me. I like the Eagles.
No. The entire NFL fandom was rooting for Philadelphia last year, just like they were in 2017.
Can't say that though, because Cowboys make up such a large portion of that. Fair. Cowboys fans,
non-Cowboys and Chiefs fans. The amount of people who
Giants fans too. I don't think we're rooting for you guys.
Yeah, probably. Point being, all non-direct rivals rooted for the Eagles because they wanted to see the bad guy lose, and that is what happened. We had the face win the title at WrestleMania, yay! But now we need the title back on a bad guy again, so we can build up our next John Cena good guy football team and root for them. Can't have the good guy.
You realize though, I mean, it's a little different because with the Eagles and the Chiefs specifically, it was like that was the exact Super Bowl that no one wanted to see. Except Eagles fans and Elijah, because I support my Eagles fans, but and my grandpa and whatnot, and I didn't want Washington to make. I hate Washington.
That would have been gross. Shit. That would have been gross to see them make it.
Yeah, that would have been Chiefs Commanders would have been a disgusting Super Bowl. That would have been a gross.
But no, I do. My genuine take is, I think it really comes down just one or two plays, and I think I just trust New England to make them more. I think.
No, they're both very solid teams. They're very well constructed, well put together. It would be kind of funny if New England won it, just given how easy they've had everything.
I just can't wait to see what the matchup is on JSN. Does Gonzo follow him all game, or are
Gonzo's going to follow him all game?
They're going to try to. I hope Gonzo follows him all game because that's all I want to watch all game.
Yep, they're gonna try to take him out of the game for sure. Anyway, we're gonna cut the show short today because lots of stuff going on. But let me get your final score prediction, and then we'll do our sign out.
Like you said, there's always funky scores. I'm gonna go 23-21 New England.
Ooh, fun. No field goals for Seattle, or maybe they can make
field goals for Seattle. No, they're going to get field goals, and they're going to go for 2 at some point.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I could see it. And I'm saying, and
New England will miss an extra point again.
I'm saying 26-23.
I like that.
But in favor of
Someone's going to miss an extra point somewhere, and yeah.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
It'll be a good game, right? This should make for a very fun game.
I really
can't imagine either team blowing the other out.
I really don't hate either of the teams left. I just, I roll my eyes at New England, but
they're New England.
I don't hate them. I don't hate those guys. It's going to be an ugly uniform matchup.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to whine about that the whole time.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to whine about that the whole time. Anyway, it's been fun, Noah. Always great having you on. Everyone, make sure you tune in 2 weeks from now for the Valentine's Day special edition of Easy Does It. And as always, on behalf of Noah Gross, I am Elijah Zelonki saying thank you for joining us. You are watching a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.